had to get a Gatorade and my hand fell asleep. I'm so sorry I'm late, Minobe. It's cool, you weren't keeping me waiting. So what did you want to talk about? I've been on the edge of my seat, just wondering what you'll ask. I wasn't the type who wore her worries on her sleeve, so her surprise would only be expected. Thanks to my perfect acting, no one even suspected I was having troubles at home. But after all that happened, I had no choice but to rely on Kiki. Honestly, I hadn't been sure how much to tell her. I didn't want to make things awkward with such a serious topic. So all I said was, I'd gotten into a big fight with my mom and couldn't go home for a while. Anyway. What? You got in a fight with your mom? That's so unbelievable. It's true, things at home are kind of a minefield. Let's just keep this between you and me. Kiki was shocked, but soon realized that wasn't something she should stick her nose too deep into. Can I stay with you for a bit? It'd be a big help if you had any spare apartments at your place, honestly. I don't think we have any right now. At this rate, I'm gonna have to live in a manga cafe or the park. I managed to get Kiki to agree to let me stay over for at least one night. We talk about what came after that later. I wasn't naive enough to assume she'd let me stay forever. But if she helped me out even a little, I could save more money. It cost about 2,000 yen to stay at a night at a manga cafe, with food expenses included. That meant I needed a few thousands a day. Of course, there were other living expenses to consider, like clothes and laundry. The more I thought, the more I realized I just didn't have enough money. I had enough to support myself for just a little while, so if I managed to get a part-time job in between. After club activities ended and we were leaving school, I casually turned the conversation to Suzumoon. I was okay with Kiki knowing, but I didn't want Suzumoon finding out about my troubles at home. So I shifted focus to him as naturally as I could. By the way, you do karate, right, Suzumoon?
Karate?
Huh? Karate? He sure does. He puts on his dojo uniform and practices in the backyard every evening. Wow, that's so cool. It's not karate, though. It all looks the same to girls. Okay, can I ask you something? I walked ahead of Suzumoon, then turned around and spoke. I'd like to see Suzumoon showing off, too. My punching trees! We watched Suzumoon train in Kiki's backyard. It was so cool. I realized once more how I felt about him. However, I sadly realized that dream was no longer possible. Afterwards, I had dinner with Suzumoon and Kiki's family. We had somen. It was so delicious. The whole family was at peace. We all had fun watching a baseball game on TV. Suzumu and Kiki looked like they were having fun too. But above all else, I was fraught with envy. I want to be part of this family. Mom and Dad hated each other. They always fought when they saw one another. Eventually, they stopped meeting face to face and each stopped coming home when the other was there. Everyone in my family just lived their own lives separate from each other. Despite that, it was the only place I felt like I belonged. But once Dad left and Mom started bringing Mr. Tanaka over, it slowly but surely lost that feeling. This place was wonderful. I could only imagine how fun it would be to live with Suzumu here. I'm sure all girls on my age had dreams like that. But I was filthy now. Could Suzumu ever accept someone like me? That wasn't the issue. It wasn't a matter of wanting acceptance. The problem was that because I loved Suzumu from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to offer my purest self up to him. It was too late. I was a caterpillar now, not a human. I simply wasn't suitable for one as pure and radiant as him. I don't like that. Wanting him to accept someone like me would be asking way too much. But I wanted to go to the Prince of Moonset because I no longer had anywhere else to go. If I were to meet him again, would he be able to save me? Could I abandon this monstrous body and start anew? Like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly? Could I be reborn as my pure self and love him? Indeed, I was a caterpillar. I was the same as that hideous, loathsome creature.
Senpai?
Minobe? Oh, I was a master at masking my tears. Oh, yeah, that's right. She has a crazy room. Wow, this room sure has a lot of personality. Actually, he has my older brothers. My older brothers. One day he said he was going to take the world by storm with heavy metal. Went off on a journey with a guitar in hand. I haven't heard from him since. Right. This was your brother's room. Got it. Oh, but what's this jacket? There's a name sewed onto it. Bloodstained Angels. First Attack Squad Leader. Tsubakiko Hubbard. Okay. That's I can't. I heard rumors that Kiki used to be one heck of a troublemaker. But this was something else. Even I was dumbfounded. She wore a striking headband, what appeared to be a commemorative group photo with her gang members. So if Kiko was a butterfly now, then the girl in the photo must have been her as a caterpillar, entirely different person. This very room itself was a vile caterpillar. And she transformed from a caterpillar to a butterfly. So would that happen to me too someday? Of course not. Because I was already a filthy, revolting, vile caterpillar. That's not true. Huh? Who said that? I heard someone calling to me in my sleep. It was the first time I heard that voice. And yet I knew who it was. Who was it? I slowly opened my eyes and saw myself. Let's go. Go? Where to? Do you even have to ask? To the Prince of Moonsuit's kingdom. I mean, what if I could? I've been... No, you don't need to look so down. After all, The Prince of Moonsuit has an amazing power. What is she talking about?
ムーンスートの王子様は体の中に聖なる裾を持ってるの。
His body possesses most sacred soot.
それを取り込めば
If you could take that for yourself,
取り込めば
then what?
元の綺麗な体に戻ることができるんだよ。
You can get your old pure body back.
本当に
Really?
綺麗な体に戻ることができれば
And if you do,
エリス姫とムーンスートの王子様は結ばれてハッピーエンド。
then you can be with the Prince of Moonsoot and live happily ever after.
ハッピーエンド。
Ever after.
さあ行こうよエリス。
Now go forth, Alice.
私の手を取って
Take my hand.
一緒にムーンスートの王国へ旅立とう。
Let us make haste to the Moonsoot Kingdom.
ムーンスートの王子様はもうすぐそこにいるんだよ。
Your prince is already there. After a few moments, I reached out and took my antlered doppelganger's hand. And then I saw a scarlet gleam before my eyes. The delicious scent of tea tickled my nose. I slowly regained consciousness. Huh? Was I? I was supposed to have been sleeping in my own bed. And I woken up to find myself in my school uniform, sitting at a table with fragrant tea in front of me. What's going on? I couldn't move my arms. It was like they were glued to my body or something. I couldn't tear them free. Confused, I looked at my body to discover I was wrapped in a silver silk blanket. No, these were strings. Those silver strings had me tied to the chair. This is familiar. A oddly designed house and dyed in silver as though it had been buried in snow. It took me a while to realize this room was like a cocoon.
窮屈にしちゃってごめんね。
Sorry it's so tight.
ミノベ先輩
Minobe.
おいらね。スズムンのこと
Thing is, I'm in love with you, Suzumoon.
大好きだから結ばれたいと思ってる。変かな。
And because of that, I want to be with you forever. Do you think that's weird?
変じゃないです。自然なことだと思います。
No, I think it's only natural. Because I'm just so awesome. Okay.
わけもわからずこうして縛られてたら
If that's what you really want.
その気持ちは伝わりにくいんじゃないかなと思
I
いま
don't
す。
think tying me up without an explanation is a good way to get that across. A
そう
little
だね。
crazy.
でも安心して。
It's true, but don't worry.
結ばれる時にはちゃんとそれほどくか
I'll free you once we become a couple. Oh,
ら。その前
oh
に
no.
し
Oh.
なくちゃならないことがあるの。
But there's something I have to do first. Minobe placed knives and forks on the table with a clatter. It looked like she was setting the table for dinner, but there were too many places. She placed multiple sets of knives, forks, spoons, and other utensils, whose purpose were a mystery to me. Eventually, it looked more like she was setting up for her surgery. Once I realized that, I finally noticed those creepy utensils were in fact tools used in abdominal surgery.
どんなフルコースだろう。これだけ食器が並ぶと期待しちゃうかな。
I wonder what feast you have in mind. With all these utensils, I'm really looking forward to it.
でも僕が食べる側だといいんだけれどね。
That is, as long as I'm on the side doing the eating. My restraints were sturdier than I expected. All I could do was squirm like a caterpillar.
食べるのはおいな。
I'll be the one doing the eating here.
何を食べるの？
And what will you be eating?
すす。
That.
ムーンスートの王子様の肝の中にたっぷ ぷりと溜め込んである神の呪いのすす
The soot of the divine curse that's stuffed away in your innards, oh Prince of Moonsoot.
そのすすの詰まった赤くて黒い王子様の生き肝を
I can't wait to chow down on those red and black guts of yours, all rich in soot.
つるり
Minobe slurped loudly as she looked hungrily down at me. My hands were clammy. I could tell by the look in her eyes she was serious. I'm dead serious.
そうすれば
Then,
私は元の姿に戻れるの
then I can get my old self back.
汚れた醜い体から生まれ変われるの
I can cast aside this corrupt and ugly body and be reborn.
どこも醜くなんかないです。
You're not ugly, not at all.
醜い
Yes, I am.
これを見てもそんなことが言えるかな
I doubt you can say that once you see this. Minobe rolled her skirt up to her navel. Then she thrust her fingers under her skin with a splash and pulled the flesh off her legs like a pair of pants. Oh god, it's Caterpillar Minobe again. Her lower half was like a giant caterpillar's, dyed with garish colors and spots.
ね
Hello? Button? There it is. See now?
こんな汚れた化け物の体じゃ
This is the
王子様と
body.
結ばれるわけがない
This is the body of a desecrated monster. I can never be with you like this.
王子様と結ばれるお姫様は清らかで美しい体でなくちゃ
Princess needs a pure and beautiful body to be with the prince.
もし君の言う醜い姿というのがそれで、それが生まれ持った体だというのなら、
If that's the body you were born with,
僕は醜いなんて思わない。
then I don't think it's ugly at all. Oh, come on, Suzumu.
そんなわけないよ
He's fine for his life.
こんな姿で生まれてきたわけない
You can't be serious. There's no way I could have been born looking like this.
なのに化け物にこんな
A monster. A monster.
こんな醜い姿に
Turn me into this hideous thing. Minobe covered her face and wept. I tried to think of something comforting to say when suddenly her eyes widened and she cackled.
でも大丈
But it's all right now.
夫あのね聞いたの王子様の聖なる筒を口にすれば呪いは解けるんだってさ
Listen to this. I can break my curse by eating your sacred soot.
僕の肝を食べるってこ
By eating my guts, you mean?
と。でもそんなことをされたら僕は死んじゃう。
Then I'd die.
死なれたら困るよだからもちろん死なさない
Well, neither of us want that, so don't worry. I won't let you die.
だって王子様とお姫様は結ばれてハッピーエンドにならなきゃいけないんだから
After all, the prince and the princess need to get together to live happily ever after.
でもそんな物騒なものでお腹を開かれたら大変だ。
But if you cut me open with that lineup you have there, that won't happen.
大丈夫ちゃんと裁縫セットでお腹を縫うからさ
You'll be fine. I've got a sewing kit. I'd stitch you back together with.
あれそういえばお裁縫セットの用意がないよ
Huh. Oh, right. I need to get that out, huh?
危ない危ないすぐに閉じて縫わないと お腹の中身が全部出ちゃうもんね。
It was close. All your organs will spill out unless I sew you up fast. Minobe turned her back to me and started fishing through the silk cupboard cabinet. This was my chance to make a clean break. I bent over, picked up one of the upside-down knives with my teeth, and inserted it into my armpit. I twisted my body in various ways until I felt the blade meet with one of the strings. I managed to make a small incision into the string. I twisted my body some more, and little by little, it grew bigger.
ねえねえ、スズムーン。お腹を縫う糸は何色がいい？
Hey, Suzumoon, what color thread would you like for your stomach? Her back was still turned. I was getting closer to freedom by the second.
いろんな糸があるよ。バニラ色にチョコレート色、ペパーミント色とかいいよね。
Got a wide selection. There's vanilla, chocolate. Oh, peppermint might be nice too.
でも、やっぱスズムンにはブルーハワイ色が似合いそうかな。
But I think blue Hawaii suits you best. It was a good flavor. Just a little more. Just a little more. Ugh. The table and chairs were cleaved in half by a giant saw. She pulled it out from the cabinet and was now wielding it. The blade cut through the chair I'd been sitting in like it was butter.
スズムンすっごい。
You're amazing, Suzumoon.
切ったの？
How'd you cut the thread?
ミノベ先輩じゃないよね。
You're not Minobe, are you? Hmm?
誰だか知らないけど
I don't know who you are.
それ以上
But if you
僕の尊敬するミノベ先輩の姿を恥ずかしめるなら
But if you continue to make a mockery of the Minobe I respect so thoroughly,
なら
then what?
怒る
I'll get mad.
本当に
For real. She doubled over with laughter as the crack of snapping twigs resounded from her head. Just then, magnificent deer antlers sprouted out of it. Her eyes flashed scarlet, demonstrating the majesty of a higher being who looked down on humans.
面白きかな。ススハラスズム。やはりお前は面白い。
How amusing, Suzumu, Suzahara. You truly are interesting.
そして
Now,
陸奥の末裔。
now let me ask you this, descendant of Mutsu.
1000年を超えて今頃何をしてみせるというのか。
What is it you think you can do after 1,000 years?
貴様の役目はただ一つ。
You have but one role now.
すすを溜め込んだその生き肝を
To take those soot-filled guts of yours
我に報じることよ。
and offer them up to me. She swung the saw again, shattering the floor I'd been standing on mere seconds prior.
身軽だな。ただ逃げ場はないぞ。
Quite nimble, but there's nowhere to hide.
本
A
物
run.
のミノベ先輩はどこにいる
Where's the real Minobe?
この1000年そのように問われて答えるアホにあった試しがないわ。
Never in 1,000 years have I met anyone foolish enough to waste time answering their prey.
だがメイドの土産に教えてやってもいい？
But since you're gonna die anyway, I might as well tell you.
月並みだけれど感謝するよ
It's quite the cliche, but I appreciate it. Just one hit from that terrifying saw would cleave me in two. For a moment, my legs threatened to freeze up with fear. But thanks to the strength of heart I cultivated over the years, I managed to keep my head.
あれの母の愚かなことと言った。
Ah, her mother truly was a fool. The girl with deer antlers laughed scornfully as she spoke. The heartbroken mother welcomed a suspicious man who healed her wounds with sweet words and cajoled into her home. Then she surrendered her heart, not realizing that the man intended to sink his fangs into her daughter as well. Minobe saw how happy her mother was, so she dutifully endured the man's infringement on the sanctuary she called home. But that man was a repulsive demon who preyed on heartbroken souls, manipulating their hearts to nourish himself. This was her mental world. Every aspect of it was a symbol of pain she held deep within her. And the cursed soot freely fed off her emotional scars. You dodged so gracefully. Why are you not paralyzed with fear? You truly are special. No wonder you've lasted a millennium. I will let you be with Kanae, if that's what you want. And how am I supposed to do that when you're eating my guts? Worry not. This is a fairy tale world. Such minor wounds will not kill you. Here, you and Kanae may live happily together. I can't let that happen. We have school tomorrow. Everyone would be shocked if I showed up with my stomach sliced open. You need not to worry about that. I shall sew you back up as good as new once I am done with my feast. I don't think that'll be possible. And why is that, pray tell? Because you look like you can't handle it. What? Am I wrong? Suzumu Suzahara, descendant of Mutsu, you have roused my soul. I shall drink your blood whole. Wow. Giant caterpillars had assembled to consume Princess Alice's beautiful castle. Shreds of the card soldiers torn to pieces in battle were strewn everywhere. Kanae and the Sesh King were facing off at a giant sesh board in the courtyard. The Sesh King was an overwhelming advantage, as though alluding to the tragic state of affairs. What is going on? Kanae's pieces were devoured and shattered one after the next. Every time she gave up a part of her body to summon new ones, but the Sesh King destroyed them relentlessly, driving her body and spirit to the edge. Oh, what a joyous day it shall be. Now I can welcome you into my family. Oh. Kanae cautiously dropped what she was holding. It looked like a stuffed pincushion impaled by countless pins. But it wasn't. It was a doll that represented her wagered body parts. She had to give up a part of her body to create new pieces every time she lost one. Normally, one would have to remove them manually via torturous methods as per the rules of Sesh. But the Sesh King had chosen not to do that. Instead of losing body parts, Kanae would offer them up as collateral and give them to the Sesh King. Sorry. The stuffed pin cushion on her feet signified what parts of her body now belonged to the Sesh King. There were already pins everywhere, like a hedgehog. Damn. In other words, the Sesh King already owned Kanae's whole body. You've lost yet another piece. And now you have nothing left to wager, do you? This music, god dang. Still, if this wasn't a game in which she could afford to admit defeat, her castle had already fallen, she had nowhere to run. To give up would be to surrender her body and soul. Continuing to resist, no matter the crisis, was her only way left of protecting her heart.
エリス姫の心を担保にしてもらうでちゅよ。
And you'll take your heart as insurance next.
ほら、今度はハートのピンクッションでちゅ。
On, here's the pincushion.
The Sesh King handed her a heart pin cushion. Kanae timidly reached for her sewing kit stuffed with pins. If she stabbed it, she couldn't keep fighting in exchange for part of her heart. She had no other toy. She could keep fighting in exchange for part of her heart. She had no other choice. But to do so would mean gradually accepting surrender each time.
ミラは
I'll
あんたなんかに絶対に屈するもんか。
I'll never give in to scum like you. Her mind made up, Kanae took about 10 pins and thrust them into her heart. There wasn't supposed to be pain involved. Yet Kanae felt like she'd been literally stabbed in the heart. The ground at her feet felt mushy for a second. Sticky drops of sweat rose to her face. Despite her valiant defiance, her bravery was faltering.
もうこのお城は僕ちんのものでちゅ。
This castle is already mine.
エリス姫はすべて僕ちんに握られてしまったのでちゅよ。
Everything you have is all mine.
That was already true. She no longer had a home to go back to, nor a mother she could rely on. She'd known that. That was why she saved money so she'd live on her own at any time.
貯めたお金で漫画喫茶に寝泊まりでちか。そんな暮らしが本当にできると思ってるでちか。
You were going to stay at a manga cafe with your hard-earned cash? Do you really think you could live like that?
人間は家族で生きるのが幸せなのでちゅ。一人で生きるなんてできないのでちゅ。
People are happy living with their family. They can't live on their own.
お前のクラスメイトはみんな親の愛に包まれてぬくぬくと暮らしているのに。
All of your classmates live comfortably blanketed by their parents' love.
どうしてお前だけが一人ぼっちで寂しく貧乏に暮らさなければならないのでちか。
So why are you the only one who has to live alone in poverty?
Indeed, he didn't need to point out how unfair it was. Why was she the only one who had to suffer such injustice? All of her classmates got along with their parents, living rent-free in their homes. They were fed, given allowance, and didn't have to pay any of the bills. So why did she alone have to start making a living entirely on her own, wading through filth just to survive? It wasn't fair.
大人でさえ一人で生きていくのはあまりに辛く悲しい。
Even adults find it.
ない。
Even adults find it too sad and painful to live on their own. There's no love to be found.
そんな生活をまだ親に甘え足りないお前のような小娘がどうして耐えられるというのか。
So why does a girl like you, who should still be depending on her mother, have to put up with that kind of life?
Kanae fell to her knees as she wrapped her arms around her shoulders. She could no longer suppress the fear she felt as a child who lost her only protection.
だから来なさい。僕ちんの芋虫ランドの家族へ。
So join my caterpillar family.
赤の他人と家族になんてなりたくないという贅沢がどれほど罪深いものかすぐに理解するでしょう。
You'll soon understand just how wrong you were to refuse the generosity of strangers who offered to take you in as your own.
さっき
Screw you. Who the hell would want to live in a kingdom of monsters?
いいえ、寝とこ、そして3度の食事。そんな当たり前の生活。
A place to sleep, 3 meals a day. That kind of life people take for granted.
それが当たり前でないと気づいた時の恐怖はどうでちゅか。
Tell me, how terrifying was it when you realized that it could all be taken away in an instant?
The Sesh King's forces were comprised of pieces, twisted and hideous, yet giant and powerful. They moved irrationally, exterminating Kanae's newborn pieces one after another. Those pieces born from the sacrificed parts of her heart shattered and vanished from the board.
また駒がなくなっちゃったでちゅね。さあさあ降参でちか。
You've lost even more pieces again. You ready to give up yet?
ものか
I won't lose.
負けるものか
I'll never lose. And I reached back into the sewing kit with trembling hands, pulled out more pins, and stabbed them into her heart. Each one symbolized her impending surrender. Every time her heart was forced to accept that a child couldn't possibly live on their own, all she wanted was an ordinary life. Not wading through filth and prowling in search of a nest day after day like a rat. Not scraping by on part-time jobs and saving herself on unhealthy food. If she drifted between mom cafes and friends' houses, she would eventually lose those too and have no choice but to live on the streets. Was that all her life was worth? Her classmates all lived snugly with parents who loved them and provided them with food and shelter. So why was she the only one forced to live in such a horrible state? Oh. No.
嫌だよ
No.
そんなの
I don't want that.
助けて
Help me.
誰か助けてよ
Someone please save me. At home with a warm bed, enough money to lead a healthy life, Kanae thought only her mother could provide her with such luxuries. But there was someone else who would, and he was right in front of her. Oh shit! He said he would be part of their family, and her mother would be there too. Oh, never mind. Only a family could provide their children with money and shelter. Only a family would love so freely and unconditionally. The world revolved around money. That was the reason everyone had to work. Children were simply sheltered from that truth. And yet, they would fight with their parents without a shred of gratitude. They had the gall to say they'd run away from home. No matter how sordid the parent, it was a blessing to have a roof over your head, a place to sleep, meals for free. This man was right. Familial love conquered all. Families were wonderful. Glory to families.
エリス姫、よーく考えるでちゅよ。
Take it over, Princess Alice.
僕ちんはエリス姫が憎くて言っているのではないでちゅよ。
Have I ever said I hate you?
エリス姫のことが大好きだから芋虫ランドで幸せになってほしいんでちゅよ。
I love you, so I want you to live happily ever after in Caterpillar Land.
もちろんエリス姫がどうしても嫌だというのなら断ってくれてもいいんでちゅ。
You're free to turn down my offer, of course.
ただしこれだけは忘れないでほしいでちゅ。
But I want you to remember this.
僕ちんを断った後に
If you reject me,
路頭に迷い髪の毛ボサボサのドブネズミみたいになった後に
and start living on the streets like a filthy rat,
やっぱり私が間違ってました。ごめんなさい。とか言っても
even if you realize your mistakes and beg for forgiveness,
その時はもう手遅れでちからね。
it will be too late.
虫の顔は一度までなのでちゅ。
I offer no second chances.
The Sesh King chortled with triumph. But accepting his offer would mean surrendering her heart. The filthy grin of that unpleasant man was looking more and more like an angel's smile by the second. Surely it would be crazy for her to keep rejecting his patronage out of pride. He was her savior, who imparted that lesson to her. The more she thought that way, the more appealing he seemed.
嫌だ
That wouldn't be right. Scum like him wouldn't possibly be her savior, her prince. After all, the prince who would save her, would grant her happily ever after, was...
鈴原鈴は来ぬ
Suzumu Suzahara will not appear. Kanae's doppelganger with those divine antlers and scarlet eyes appeared from above and laughed.
あれは死んだ 生きてはおらぬ。
He is dead. He cannot save you now. No, no way.
あれの裾を食らえば、我は姉上様たちのすべてをすすだける。
Once I devour his soot, I shall gather all the soot from my sisters.
だがその前に貴様という殻を破らねばならぬ。
But you are my shell, and I must destroy you first.
その時にこそ我は生かし、最悪の翼を存分に伸ばしてこの地に災いをもたらすのだ。
Only then will I emerge, spread my wings of disaster, and bring calamity onto this land.
醜き男よ、その娘という殻を砕け。
Destroy that shell, scum.
心を
You are-
砕き、すりつぶし、虫けらの身分にまで落としてやるがいい。
You are free to crush her heart, rip her to shreds, reduce her to nothing but grub in a jar.
それでこそ小賢しきすすだきの秘術の生贄の末裔にふさわしい末路よ。
Such is a fitting end to the descendant of that hateful ritual.
かしこまってでございまっちゅう。さあエルシフめ、どんどん行くでちよ。
As you wish. Let's keep going, Princess Alice.
嘘だ、
It can't be.
スズメが死んだなんて。
Suzumu can't be dead.
どうしたムツの末裔。
Whatever is wrong, descendant of Mutsu.
逃げ回るばかりで戦わぬのか。
Is running all you can
養子
do?
抜けであるぞ。
How disappointing.
ムツは親善武術なるものを生み出し、後世に伝えたそうだな。
Mutsu created the divine tribute style and passed it down to his descendants, did he not?
その拳、神の呪いに通じるかどうか、なぜ試さぬ。
So why have you not tried to use it on me? The divine tribute style was meant to be dedicated to a god, not for striking one. Hajen Kinsho, the fist to crush evil and demonstrate the righteous path. Suzumu was up against the avatar of Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto's curse. In other words, he was up against the wrath of God itself. It was akin to rain and lightning from the heavens. There was no evil or righteousness in nature. The same applied to her existence. So punching her would prove ineffective.
僕の拳はお前を撃つためのものじゃない。
My fist is not meant for striking you.
ならば、何のためにあるというのか。
Then what is it for?
アジャ検証。邪悪を破りで正しきを示す。
Hajin Kensho, crush evil and demonstrate the righteous path. And that was demonstrated by showing thanks to God. Suzumu understood that logic. That was meant to be the essence of divine tribute style. How could he feel any gratitude for this girl trying to kill him with such a twisted smile?
撃たぬのか。ならば、そろそろ地層になろうぞ。
So he will not strike me? Then I suppose it's about time I reap my reward.
貴様の生き肝のすす。
Your soot is mine. That attack split both sky and ground, cleaving the whole room in half. The saw's relentless assault had already rent the room, no, the whole cabin asunder. Unable to take any more, the foiler split in two and began to tilt. Whoa! Suzumu was swallowed by the rift in the room. Below was the foliage of a thick group of giant trees. The room was a tree house that had been built on top of a towering tree. Suzumu managed to grab into the floorboard at the last second. The rest of his body hung in midair. He wondered just how tall this tree was. It felt like he was looking down at a forest from a cable car in the mountains. The surface was slightly misty. Just looking at it froze Suzumu with fear.
哀れな姿よ、ムツの末裔。
Look at what you've been reduced to, descendant of Mutsu.
カナエと二人でこのおとぎの国でいつまでも楽しく暮らせばよかろう。
You could live happily ever after with Kanae in this fairy tale land.
それをなぜ拒む？
So why do you reject it? He placed the edge of the giant saw on Suzumu's fingertips. It seemed the avatar of the divine curse wasn't bound by laws of human world like gravity. She floated in the air and calmly gazed down at Suzumu.
彼女がそれを望むなら考えてもいい。
That's what she wants. I could consider it.
だけど
But
だけど
what?
それはお前の望みであって彼女の望みじゃない。
It's what you want, not her.
だから考えるまでもない。
So it's absolutely out of the question.
勇ましきかの陸奥の末裔よ。
How valiant you are, descendant of Mutsu.
ならば我の与えた最後の選択をして哀れな末路をたどるがいい。
Then abandon the final choice I bestowed upon you and meet your pathetic end.
いや
No.
僕に選べる最後の選択はもう一つだけある。
I have one last choice I can make.
この後に及んでどんな選択がある？
What other options could you possibly have at this point?
何もない。貴様は今から我にとらわれ生き肝を引きずり出されるのよ。
None. I shall take you as my prisoner and drag out your guts.
それを拒否すること。
Sorry, but that won't be happening.
何？
What? Once she captured him, only death awaited him, a literal dead end. And if he fell from this height, his death was also guaranteed. But the thick foliage lay below. Though the chance of survival was slim to none, it was still a chance, so Suzumu would not hesitate to choose it.
愚かな。
Fool.
この高さから落ちれば5体はバラバラに砕け散るぞ。
Smash the pieces. You'll smash to pieces the moment you hit the ground.
じゃあ僕の肝もバラバラだ。
So will my guts.
それを一切れ一切れ探し回ったらいい。
I suppose that means you'll just have to put me together again for that soot of yours.
貴様
You cur.
僕はお前にみすみすと食われるくらいならわずかでもこうすることを選ぶ。
If you're gonna eat me where I stand, then I'd rather put up a fight.
原すず
Susahara! The manifestation of curse reached out for him, but Suzumu had already vanished into the world below. Not even the sound of him hitting the ground would reach that high up.
バカな男だ。
Cretin.
この高さを多少茂った枝葉が救えると思うか？
He must have thought the leaves would break his fall.
愚か者め。
What a fool. Suzumu can't be.
お前の王子は来ぬ。
Ah, starry stretch. Okay. Your prince will never come for you.
故にお前に選べる選択肢はない。
Therefore, you have no choice.
その男の醜き芋虫たちの家族に加わることのみ。
You must join that man's, those hideous insects, family.
それを認めるまでにどの程度の時間がかかるかだけの違いしかない。
The only difference is how long it takes for you to come to terms with that.
さあさあまたコマがなくなっちゃったでちゅよ。
You've lost yet another piece.
そんなにちょっとずつコマを増やしても焼け石に水でちゅ。
No matter how many pieces you add, you're bound to fail.
もっとハートをドーンと明け渡さないと逆転は望めないでちゅよ。
Keep going unless you surrender more of your heart. You have no hope of turning the tables.
しない。お前なんかに絶対
I won't give in. I'll never submit to the likes of you. Kanae grabbed a fistful of pins and thrust them into her heart. It was impossible to even make out its original shape anymore. Nearly every part of it was covered in pins. She'd squeezed out every last bit of her heart to muster her final resistance. Several powerful pieces befitting that final flicker of the candle lined themselves up on the board.
平凡な毎日でいいんだ。おいらは幸せになりたいんだ。
An ordinary life is all I asked for. I just want to be happy.
お前なんかに。
I'll never surrender my happiness.
おいらの幸せを明け渡してたまるか。
To a scumbag like you. Kanae's white pieces advanced gallantly across the board. They stared down and clashed with the Sesh King's black pieces. But her pieces were defeated one after another. It was unreasonable.